What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, well, I'm going to be talking about why I think that Season 2 of MyTEAM was probably the worst season in the history of NBA 2K25 MyTEAM for a variety of reasons. Not just NBA 2K25 MyTEAM, NBA 2K MyTEAM, period. And I'm going to be explaining why I think that. But before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I'm uploading every single day, tons of consistent daily MyTEAM content. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. And without further ado, let's hop right into it. So first things first, I honestly think that the worst season in MyTEAM history can pretty much be ruled out to being any time between 2K21 and 2K23. Now, 2K23 especially had its issues, but those games were generally pretty good games. There was a consistent balance of grindable content pretty much every single season, higher level reward cards, mode rewards, things of that nature, and the games themselves were more rewarding, the pack odds were better, things of that nature made those game modes better up until 2K23. Now, in my opinion, the only seasons that really compare to 2K25 in terms of how rough the seasons were some of the seasons in the second half of last year. But here's the thing. I want to go back and I want to talk about the second half of last year first, because that's when we got the all-star content that changed the game and created this gambling-only simulator that was 2K24 MyTEAM, where cards couldn't be pulled, except, I pulled to grab the wrong thing, sorry. Where cards could not be pulled or could not be attained unless they were pulled out of packs, because there was no auction house and there was no cards being put in the player market of the top tier cards. Like, that was really problematic, right? And that, I think, has an argument to be made for being as bad some of those seasons as season 2 of this year, I should say. But the reason that I don't believe that is because season 2 had season 2 had less grindable content and truly rewarding, consistent things to do that any of those seasons last year did. So let's go through and look. This is when the gambling only content started last year, was this all-star content, when they started dropping 100 overalls only, pack only, opals only, pack only, things of that nature, and cards were not attainable unless you pulled them. But we did get an entire domination with several good cards. I mean, Jabari Smith was good. Denny Avdia was a 6'9" point guard. This Şengün, this LeBron were both really, really good cards. We got a grindable domination in the middle of the season when they did that all-star content. They were also doing this weekly rush content where there was a free grindable Galaxy Opal and other free grindable cards, often which were very, very good. And they did that type of content for a long time. I mean, they did that pretty much every single Tuesday, the entirety of season 5, which was the all-star season. Season 6, same thing. We had the same type of content, except it was called bold content. There was reward cards being dropped, not super consistently, but decently consistently. There was a lot of grindable content that was attainable. I mean, this NBA playoffs content even was also grindable. This wasn't stuff that you had to spend money on to get these cards. They were consistently dropping top tier grindable cards, and not every single drop and every single week had amazing cards, but there were a lot of amazing cards mixed in. I mean, for example, this Opal Clyde Drexler, this Dark Matter Clyde Drexler played on a lot of people's teams for a really long time, and there were a variety of cards like that. Even the seasonal rewards were better. Like, a lot of these guys were really, really good cards that you could earn for free. I mean, season 7 was good. Season 8 especially was the season that had really, really good grindable content. But like, this Jokic point guard was the level 40. He was a really, really good card. That RJ Barrett was a beast. There were a lot of other grindable and earnable reward cards that were consistently being dropped and were consistently higher tier, really good cards. And they combined that with good playoff content and these grindable agendas like this Spark content right here in season 7. There was a lot of that stuff in these later seasons where, while the game sucked still because the best cards in the game were mostly gatekept behind gambling only, there was enough free and grindable content to where I feel like the game mode still had a little bit more life despite all of the issues that did exist. And there were certainly a lot of issues. I'm not going to sit here and say that there weren't, but I believe it was season 6 even. Was season 6 when they dropped, I think it was season 6 when they dropped Glenn Rice, right? And I think Dark Matter, let me scroll through this. Yes, Dark Matter SGA was the level 40 reward. Incredible card. Terry Dishinger was the unlimited reward. Really, really good card. And most importantly, Dark Matter Glenn Rice, who I think was the best card they dropped all year in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM, was completely free, from season 6 on. This card was the best shooting guard in the game for the rest of the year. That's how good that Glenn Rice card was. And he came out for free in April. Like, look, I think 2K24 My Team post All-Star break was a really, really bad game. But you could at least earn consistently top tier content. And while a lot of cards were totally inaccessible, and that was the biggest issue with it, was so many of the cards were just inaccessible unless you were willing to gamble, there were still a lot of good things about the grindable and free content in the mode. Whereas this year, let's go through and look. Of course, my Elgato glitched again. One sec, y'all. As I was saying, though, if you compare those previous seasons to this year, I feel like this season specifically has been worse than any of those gambling only type seasons at the end of 2K24, because let's talk about the free content that has been attainable this season. We have had this Dia de los Muertos event in which Shea was not at all attainable for free, but you could get Jaime Jaquez, these other players, Eric Spoelstra, a 92 plus premium pack, and a legend badge for free. And you could probably get like half of those things, maybe not all of them just for grinding, but you could get close to you could probably have gotten Jaquez, Spoelstra, and the legend badge from grinding this event for free. So there was some decent free grindable content from this Dia de los Muertos event. But that was the only thing this season that has been truly good grindable content. There was a grindable Jalen Green in Triple Threat Park, a grindable Julius Randle in Triple Threat Park, and a grindable Greatest Eras 2000s pack in Triple Threat Park that was almost certainly going to give you a bad card because every card in the set except for Corey Maggette is bad. So unless you got him, it wasn't a good pull. But that was pretty much the extent of the grindable content. I mean, this weekend they dropped the Showdown win streak where you could win 5 games of Showdown in a row for a 92 plus premium pack, which, by the way, really hard for people to do and not a great reward at this point in the season. And outside of that, I think there was one Showdown event early in the season, maybe a door game event for a hidden gem diamond. I think. I'm trying to remember. I think that was this season. But that's basically it. And then you had the ridiculous mode reward grinds for Showdown and Park, where the only way to get truly valuable rewards is to play a ridiculous amount of the mode. Like the only way to get a free pink diamonds this entire season is 500 Park wins or 250 Showdown wins, which is ridiculous. There was almost no real grindable content this season that was actually obtainable for the community, and all the stuff that was grindable was not on the same level as the top tier cards they dropped. Because you can't get Dr. J for free. He's a million MT. It's ridiculous. You can't make MT very well anyway, and a million MT for this card is absurd. Zach LaVine, same type of story. Wemby, even more dramatically the same type of story. The most expensive cards in the game are completely unobtainable, pretty much, for a no money spent player. And it's just not a game mode that is accessible to the community right now unless you're willing to spend tons and tons of money on the game. I don't think it's ever been more that way. I think this is the most predatory the game has ever been towards a no money spent player. And my conclusion is that the season 2 of 2K25 is literally the worst season they have ever dropped. Very little grindable content, inaccessible rewards, just a disastrous, not good season at all for my team, and really, really unfortunate because I want to like this game and I want it to succeed. I thought season 1 wasn't great, but I thought it was okay. Season 2 has been an abject disaster, and season 3, if it doesn't get better, might be the end of my team. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of already over for me at this point anyway. I'm working on other things to get away from having to play this game for a living. So with that being said, that's going to do it for this video. Hope y'all did enjoy. Let me know in the comments what y'all think of my take about this being the worst season in my team history. And if you did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.